I'd like to thank Torah Anytime, Kamashkacha Pratis, and Kol HaLoshen. And of course, the Rabbeinu Shalom. In Shemayim, how good he is not pushing. B'tochen hotline, I want to thank Rabbi Golombek. We have Rabbi Osh over here, Rabbi Nosenzweig. We have Rabbi Wiener. We have the best people are all sitting here. Rabbi Yafi, Rabbi Yosef Yafi, not Shaykh, Rabbi Yeshua, all these holy Jews, we got them all here. I still have, it's a problem, I don't want to say it in public so much, I'm a little embarrassed, but I'm very upset, when they announce my name, they just say Rabbi. I mean, I was expecting Harav, a Goyin, a Tzaddik. You have to, it's not an easy life. I want you to know, people who make jokes, they want people to laugh. In fact, they tell the big speakers, if you're not good at jokes, don't try it. You'll embarrass yourself like in the worst way. If you're not good at that, don't get near it. But I try to make jokes. People call me all day. And one of my big jokes is, as soon as you find out, as soon as my mifus takes place, please tell the whole world. So I'm expecting someone to laugh over there. Instead, oh yes, Rabbi, yes, I'll do that. I'll tell the whole world, yes. So today I finally got someone to laugh. I thanked them 1,000,000 times. At least somebody's laughing, I want you to laugh at my jokes. I saw somebody, a famous Bטחון, world famous Bטחון, who was making jokes in front of Reb Chaim Kanevsky. There was a big, long table sitting there, and he told a joke to Reb Chaim, and Reb Chaim, it didn't go. Reb Chaim has a sense of humor. Don't worry about Reb Chaim. It didn't go. So the guy repeated it. He had two people together, and they started being masbid a joke. You want to really kill it? You want to kill it? Yo, was I masbid the joke? Says the guy, and they repeated it a few times. That's such achmanis. That's kaparas avodas. You make a joke and nobody laughs. It's over. Boss came in. Such a pleasure to see such heilige yin. These are all my tefillas. I daven. I got Golombek. Golombek is tefillah. Golombek is Hanar Zoisis Palolti. I said, Rabbeinu Shalom, I can't do this myself. I need some help. 2 weeks later, the hotline began. He doesn't know what I'm doing. He knows what I'm doing behind the scenes. Anyway, I got him. I got you. You're a tefillah. You're tefillah. You're told. You're tefillah. You're all tefillah. Okay. Now I got to get very nasty. I'm waiting for the meeting. It's okay. Anyway. But gets it. All right. I spoke to my class today. 9-year-old kids. I have to send some boys out when I speak morbid things. You don't live forever. You don't live forever. You don't. It's a chiyuv. Why can't you just talk about that every day? You're not here forever. Dr. Matasio told me this years ago. I says, how does he manage with all his nasyonis? He says he knows there's another world. Do you know how much easier it is to live in Olam Haza if you know it's all a mum oiva? Everybody thinks they're here forever. It kills you. You're not here forever. Mind afkamina if what your wife looks like and what this guy's chepping you. Mind afkamina. It's all a mum oiva. My sister, Lasham, she was going to lose all her teeth at 40. Didn't happen, Baruch Hashem, but whatever. Her husband, the heilige Yid, he never saw a woman in his life. My Shvaga Matchafeda, Tzadik Yesod Eilam. He said, Ruchel, what's mit dir? She was all depressed. What's mit dir? Man lebt da Feibek, he hit in the chap. So you lose all your teeth. What? Speak about losing your teeth. If it's here, la netzach, it's a bitter. You're not here forever. Meinaf Gemina. People don't have that mentality. I tell you, it's Golas Edaim, because Esav thought he's here forever. We're under his influence. Like the Chavetz Chaim said, do you know that one of the happiest people I ever met was Yisrael Chaim Kaplan. I saw him one time. He was Master Rebbe Malin in the Shloshim of Rebbe Malin in Beis HaTalmud, and there were three speakers. He was murdered in the Welt. His simcha level was, a listig yid. Yisrael Chaim Kaplan. He was an Adam by Rabbi Yerucham. Rabbi Matchush Rab told me, why did Rabbi Yerucham take him for an Adam? Because he used to learn Musar an hour a day, and the first 10 minutes, he was Matzaya Gehenim, and at being Matzaya Gehenim, he was the best. He was a listige Freilach Yid. How did that happen? What's going on? I spoke recently about Gehenim. Boy, I got flack. Mendel, that I didn't like. That's not Kefi Ruchacha, You're not supposed to talk about Gehenim around here. Okay. Don't. Anyway, but I'm just saying it's positive when you know every mashahu of pain that a person has. I tell this to people a lot. Every mashahu pain you have, you lost Gehenim. You know what a bracha that is. To lose Gehenim, 1 second of Gehenim is worse than the entire Nazi Holocaust. Do you know what that means? You're losing a second. So you have somebody in your life that you don't like. You're losing Gehenim. So you have a twitch. That's not pleasant. It's a bracha. Be makabel the twitch. Eibish da dank. Thank you so much for that twitch. That I stutter a little, that I'm quiet, and I don't look so good. All these things, the Stipler speaks about Yisurim. It's all kinds of Yisurim. Everybody has Yisurim. And they, what's his name? Dalton Kelm used to wake up his Talmud and he say, if Ashloft am Malchus, every minute of your life, if you use it properly, with Amuna and Bטחון, and you every minute you're getting jewels. I'm having Yisurim right now. Thank you. Being Makabolis Yisurim is such a tikkun the whole world gets from it. Makabel Yisurim is Gavaldi. Be Makabel, get into it. Every inch is Yisurim. If you, 1 second. Oh no, such a baffling. Here it is. I wanted to get my pen. I took out my pencil. Yisurim. They state in the Gemara. Oh, by the Eibishter, that's Yisurim. Shreklach. And Nebuch, he took out his pencil instead of his pen. He doesn't like his pen. He doesn't like his pencil so much. He likes his pen better. He took out the wrong thing. Yisurim. Every inch is Yisurim. You're so gliklach. Shreinu matayv chalkeinu. You live with the Eibishter. You're so gliklach. I tell this to a lot of people lately. People wonder. I must confess, I'm super happy. If I'd have Novandig with me, it'd be a little better, much better. But we're trying to bring Novandig back. Then I'd really be happy. It's not normal because you know what they would do? I'd be writing down all the things that made me happy or not happy today, and I'd figure out what I have to do, and I'd be 100 times. But it's plenty good. I sit there and I learn Bטחון an hour a day. I spend an hour a day alone with the Eibishter, and I learn any sefer on Bטחון. All the pekar go in the garbage. You know what schusim you get if you do that? You know how much schusim you get if you learn an hour a day Bטחון. The Rambam said you'd rather learn Amuna than anything else. You know what you're getting, and it's what does the Eibishter think it out? He loves it. This man is mine. He's my chevra. He gives you a different treatment. I'm going to tell you, that happened to me. I was once I feel that my father used to call himself Ben Yachid to the Eibishter. And I'm getting that feeling, plenty. You learn Bטחון an hour a day, you're going to feel you're not shayach. Especially if you have the Novandig twist, where you're far from the Welt. Oh, das ist Gan Eden. Far from the Welt. It's so important.
it have to be Ritzifus or Sachakol?
What? It's not, what did you say? Yeah, it's preferable Ritzifus. But don't make yourself mishuga. Mach geschmack. Whatever you do, make it geschmack. Make it geschmack. Don't get, now, I'll be honest, it's not always geschmack. In fact, sometimes, not too often, but I would even open a Gemara in the middle. I can't do this for an hour. You know, open a Mishnah, open something, you know, that you can chew, that you can swallow. Musa. Well, you know, Bekiyas Musa is also not real Musa when you go through a few Blettelach. You're sitting, I was just learning, I was safer on Bטחון. Again, another vertel on Bטחון. It gets, that's the real Musa. When you hack on an issue and you sit on it, and your pekla go away one by one. Das is Musa. You don't know what a Gan Eden it is. A boysai, you want to be happy. Somebody asked me, I was speaking in front of a group of a very chashach habura here in Lakewood, and I'm hoping they're into it. And they asked me about Musa, how do you learn Musa? So I told them, what did I tell them? I said, they said, how important? I says, I want to tell you one thing about me. Before I open a Blat Gemara, I do that first. If I have to, and they asked me, what about davening? Yes, this comes before davening. It's lav dafka that I hold my word all the time. But at least that's my shita. You can't breathe without learning Shar B'Tachon. You're not here. You're not in the world. You're out of it. Listen, ganzen shtick, I don't know. No, everybody's gewaldig. It's not right to talk like this. Everybody, no matter what you do, David shall help. It's going to work. But this is the way, you know, if you want to be really happy in this world, sit there, be machshiv, working on Bטחון, writing Bטחון. I got to tell you now a story. It happened to me. I looked at my old notes. I had an anicle who was in the hospital in Eretz Yisrael. And he was in oxygen ICU, it was a little bubble, an anicle. And they were, mamish, it was scary. So I learned Musar on Bטחון. I have it in my notes. 4 hours later, out of the oxygen, out of the this, out of the that. But part of the Maisa was, I learned a lot of Musar on Bטחון. You learn Bטחon. You know, people, they're working, I don't like making away with anybody, but what I was taught was, you're working on Bטחon, you open a sefer, Aleph. Oh, ma'oisis, ma'chimois. I'm not allowed to say this, I'll tell you why. Be careful with what I'm saying. I'm telling you that people could be zoichet the Bטחon without doing what I'm saying. Don't listen to me. I know a young model, sit Gemara Taisus. Oh, shekayach. Sit Gemara Taisus. Wow. Harab, going outside. I saw the yikah. Okay. What else? Let's get to the point. Going outside. Now we're talking.
Number one is open a sefer.
What'd you say?
Number one, open a sefer.
Yeah, so the real way to do it, which I don't like to talk about, it's really dangerous. First of all, for ladies, it's not kedai to hear half the stuff I'm going to say. The way you should do it. The Blat Gemara first. Privately, if people want to ask me, the ideal way is any way you do it. It's going to work. Be mispal, I'm working on Bטחon, help me, it should work. I'll call up so-and-so and I'll get Bטחon. Daven to the Eibishter for me this Bטחon. The best thing is just daven all day. Please give me Bטחon. That's the best way to go. And everybody's different. Everybody has different drachim. You know, Arush, I met Rav Shalom Arush. He told me, Zelo aderech shalanu. That you're not going to be about Bטחon. You're going to learn. You got to speak to the Eibishter. Zet theoretisch. When you talk, that's real Bטחon. Anyway, I went to my Rebbe, Rabbi Yisroel, and he said, "Nah, it does work." And I know it works. So I went back. So then I went to his son. I to the toch. I came to the maskana. You learn Musa on Bטחon, and you daven while you learn Musa. I went back to Arush, and he loved it, and he said, "That's gewaldig. Learn Musa and daven while you're at it. You made it." All right, listen. Don't listen to anything. I was on the phone with one of his Hasidim who was Zeichet Nisim Galuyim Lat Shayach. I don't believe they did any of this stuff. And it worked. So don't get, but ideally, Oisius Machinis, you'll learn a sefer on Musa. That's the best way to do it. Writing Ashkachas. Writing Ashkachas. Ashkacha Pratis is the best way to get B'tachon, Ashkacha Pratis. And I went to from a Mekubal. Aderech libat B'tachon. Kol hayom litpalel ba'ad B'tachon. Daven all day for B'tachon. I told this to my Rebbe, Reuven Hachser. He said, this is gewaldig. Daven all day for me this B'tachon and watch. Daven! Hey, Mr. Please make me a B'tachon. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you when my Einikel got better. Now I was learning Eile Megalchen, and they were talking about Pekuach Nefesh Dekamatzev, ICU. It was serious stuff. And I was punked learning all about Maves Ahin, and Maves Ahed, and Maves Ahed, and Maves Ahin. And that's very good for a guy who's my type, who's, now you're not supposed to do that. You know, the types that are afraid of Ein Horrors, you know that types, like all of us. Don't do that. No. That's why I'm suffering. I once sinned many years ago. Now the Eibush is getting me, right? All the tzaddikim, I don't go for that. You hear what I'm saying? I don't go for it. Handle with care. You're going to do that? Speak to a Grace Yid before you get in that direction. I heard a mice once with the Manchester. A lady was in a car with that spin over, and she came out with Nisim, and she came running to him. Why did this happen? This Aveira, that Aveira. I think this is what I'm not sure if it's a true story or not. It probably is, and even if it isn't, it's Givaldi. It's Givaldi. He said, because you're here to hold up the world, and whatever, you got to come out ahead. The message of Maggid says, if you're involved in din, you get more din. Don't go in that direction. I deserve it. Hashem is paying me back. I want you to know, I once had a Maisa where I did something where it was obvious einish. It was an obvious einish because I did this and I had that. And I called Reb Chaim Fogel from Yerushalayim. And I says, isn't that what it is? He said, Ein li esek ben historis. Nobody knows nothing. But it's obvious. Don't give me this obvious. Oh, but it's then, you see, obvious. Lows up. We don't know. And I heard this from other rabbis, all of them. They all said, Ein li esek ben historis.
One time I broke my leg.
Yeah.
And when I was learning about Chaim Epstein then, I asked him, maybe I broke my leg because I was going to the wrong places. He gave it to me. He says, can't say that. And he said one time someone came to Rabbi Miller and he poured water all over him. And he says, maybe this. He says, what happened? You weren't careful when you poured the water, he said.
That is...
And that's what happened. That's it.
That is the famous Slobodka reaction. I heard the same thing with Chaim Fogel when I got a ticket and I had to pay $500. Even though for a change, I punked wasn't speeding, but they got me anyway. So I've got a little, but they got. I'm not so bad. I'm just joking. I just want to be funny, so I'm a safe driver. But what I want to say, I got a $500 ticket. Says Chaim Fogel. Was kommt mit dem einisch? So he says, Baldi gets too schnell in the car. You ever think of that? That Slobodka is famous for that. They go, what do you have to look so far to figure out? Okay, I'm not getting involved. There is. Watch out. They say Amnon Yitzchak is into this. He'll tell you what you did wrong, you do tshuva, and you'll be fine. Yeah, he does that too. Yeah, now I want to tell you, I had a Rabbi Schwartz, and I got sick once, and he told me where it's coming from. He told me which Aveira it was. And I did tshuva, and it got better. I can't describe to you how delicious that is. It's great. It's even better than the B'tachon. do tshuva on the problem, and you've cured, and it's meridik. I saw it. Mitamol, everything changed as soon as I did tshuva. And he, Zatzal, his wife told me, when something goes wrong with him, he gets sick, whatever it is, he as soon as something goes wrong, he says, okay, let me check this out. He learns Musa, takes out all his notes, and he says, it's for this Aveira. He does tshuva, and in a day, it's gone. He lived his life like that. He knew himself. He used to sit all day like the Mesilas Yesharim says, like the big businessmen. Big businessmen, they make a big asik out of Avodas Hashem. Rabbi said, I give a bracha, we want to bring the Bardik back. Yes, we want to make a big asik like the big businessmen. You sit there all day and you harv on your midas, I don't know if all day, but whatever, more than with a mahalach to work on this and work on to decide. You make an emergency meeting instead of being, they're at a meeting. What all this meeting, that meeting, a business meeting, and that meeting, okay. Make a meeting. What's your next move in Avodas Hashem? And get your friends together, and they know you. And so right now we're talking, there is a younger man, Rabbi Admin, and he wants to get together with you, Zerkiev. And we want to get together and bring back Navadik. We want to find out exactly what should we do. We want to read. The Shaila is, okay, well, I don't want to get to all the problems. Bring back Navadik again. Don't make me complicated. It's coming back. And Zayagazun, Reb Geshem was like that. I remember once Reb Geshem came to New York, and he started talking about making base abdidus here and there. All over. He was going to turn over New York. He came to visit. So two Navadik were showing a figure with Yisrael Maya, and he was coming, and that was to me a mistake. He go, yeah, okay, so you want me to start, So they told me, Loz up. That's him. But I'm telling you, Reb Geshem made 15 meisters all over France because he was such a Baal Chalemus. Baal Chalemus pays off. Anyway, but that's the way he did things. Reb Nosson was also like that. No, Reb Nosson was very in fantasy land. Reb Shneya, what's it there? The other make chayzik. You know what schar you get for dreams? Even if they never come true. You know how much Olam Haba you're going to get if you go around all day saying, I want to be Mekarv Gans Klai, so do it. When you say, don't think, you're not as bad as you think. I'll show you. Rabbi Yosef Leib tells her. Yeah. About softness. Yeah, he was. He got it from the altar. Yeah, he got it from the altar. Rabbi Yosef Leib tells her. A lot of Gdolim were just nifta. And everyone was depressed. The remaining Gdolim were very depressed. They said, we got nobody here. So Rabbi Yosef Leib tells her, got up, and he said, Shem Shein Shir Lamala, Kachen Shir Lamata. Believe it or not, the guys are even less than we are. So there's, when you say Hashivein Avim L'Sar Sachar, this Aver, that Aver, you know what's going on out there. You're not from the Klal. Feel like you are Klal Yisrael. The Eibush needs you, not the guy next to you. And you're davening God, Klal Yisrael. I want to challenge you. Shouldn't be bragging at me, but I have a very big, Zikr Rabim way of thinking. And I would say that it would be more appropriate to go out. I'll say it, but I'm not embarrassed, even though I might get. The one time I spoke, Barabim, and they checked me. I went up in front of a real yeshivish place, and I spoke about you got to get out. I said just what you're not supposed to say. And somebody got up there in the middle, and he said, Shuldi, we don't have that shita. And I told him, I'm very happy you said that, because I also don't want younger people to take me serious. I just want them to know someday in the future. But he kept challenging me. It was very good, Nishka fellow. When I asked the Shaila, my Rebbe, Reuben Oxley, he said, you did the right thing. I would do it again. Even if the other can't be makabel. And the reason why I don't want to say things that the other can't be makabel. Rather than Navadik is, don't mind saying controversial things at all. They love it. I've seen them get up. When there was a Dayan sitting here who had shitas this way, they got up saying that way, right in front of the whole crowd. And after he got through, the next Novandig came up and he did the same shtickle. One after, no. The belt is full of snif. I don't know if you chap. My shver once told me that his father went to America. He was an English Yidi. He was a sheikhet, came to America. He wasn't matzliach. To get parnasa, they had no money in the Hungary. So he wrote back, he said, Shleisha dvarim, America oimit. Al achilas treifes, val achilas Shabbos, val achnife. V'im shlosh eilo lo yasalo, v'yotzachina mein kosef. That's what Shah's father wrote back. So I remember Chanifa was one of the big three. I don't know if the Elam chaps that Chanifa is everywhere, and I'm glad to hold from it. I'm not going to fight around with Chanifa. I like it, and I do it all the time. I don't care what anybody says. You want to call me a machna? Fine. B'shita I'm a machna. I hold the Elam needs. That's what I hold. Rav Hutner used to do that, by the way. Rav Hutner was very, very built up people left and right. That was his derech. Anyway. And not lav dafka everybody's going to believe it. What can you do? I have to do mine. Now, what was I saying? So they would get up and they would say whatever they wanted. Now, what was I talking about? Where am I up to?
Get up in the yeshiva place.
Oh, yeah. So, it's kedai to hear about Zikir Rabim. The schos of there have a b'li'ayin hara. My olam is heavy more and more into Zikir Rabim. Put out a contrast. Rab Nosson used to scream, "Was tust du? The mashkiach of Meleikod zatzal." Schos you're going to learn, Rab Nosson. He told us to me, you must have his tongue. I'm sitting and learning. We know, but you got to do something. Put something out. Give a chabura. Do something. Build a yeshiva. Give a vad. You got to do something. He was very big into that. Reb Nosson Zatzal. And the Vadik for sure is like that. Very much like that. In fact, Reb Gershon was the one that got me to become a Rebbe. Because I wasn't interested. I was learning. I was sitting and learning. A Malamed is second best. A Malamed, my father had the opposite chinuch. By them, my father was a Talmud of Shraga Feivel. By there, being a mechanech was everything. But today, I don't know where it's holding anymore. But sitting and learning full time, I always felt. I once told Rabbi Dershowitz, we were good friends. I told him, "You're sitting and learning," and he says, "And I'm just a Malamed." And he says, "Yes, I see. I'm also looking at you like you're Baruch Hashem a Malamed. I'm sitting learning. I see the Eitzar is winning all over the place. Everybody's not happy. Everyone's the other guy. This is the right way." But Reb Gershon pushed me into becoming a mechanech. So being mezakis a rab makes you a new person. You have such chusim. Rav Kalmanovich, his son, his father did not want him to get involved in Askonis. He was up and coming, Gadol B'Torah Yerushalayim. He was ingenious, he was rizik. And Chavetz Chaim told him he should go into it because one of the reasons was he's going to learn, it's just for himself. You're going to build a yeshiva, everything they're doing belongs to him. Simple arithmetic. You hear that? You give out these things, whoever did this, every time someone opens up one of these, he's getting schar. Zikar Ram, it's a good zach. Anyway. Now I want to finish the story I was telling about my uncle who was in the ICU with oxygen, mysis, with everything. And I was learning El Megalchen with Misa and Misa and Misa all over the place. And I fought the whole business. It scared me. The kid's holding, I kept calling, is he still alive? We're dealing with Chaim Mavis, and you're learning about Mavis. Come on. I had experience with this. My daughter, I was learning Kedushin when she became a Kala. And the day of her Vod, I had just started Avodim, and Punk the Chassan said a pupil on Avodim. I was very spooked out. Some Seifer, you know what you do. When he learned Nezikin, things started happening. No, you heard it? You never heard? Some Seifer, he was like, I don't know, for our door, we have enough of that. We don't have to try to be like the Nervin. You have to make a bittel of all that stuff. A bittel, lachsachais. I learned Elam Galchen with all I saw it 20 times that day, and I called up, now I know for sure the baby's alive. And Kach Hava. Yafaf und the Nervin. Waf Nervin and garbage. Ein horror. Ein horror. In the Vadig, this is the Nusach. Reb Oizer told me. In the Vadig, Reb Gershon hat sich ausgelacht. See, you have to understand, the Nusach of the Vadig isn't that he didn't believe in that stuff. No. Hat sich ausgelacht. You got to know how to deal with it. You got to laugh at it. It's a different button. It's Shvirs Hamidus or B'tachon? Bali B'tachon. Ein Hor. Oh, Ein Hor. Watch out. Ausgelacht. Averis. Ausgelacht. You're not going to be a Baal B'tachon. You know what kills most people's B'tachon? All these frum Zachen. It's either somebody has akpod on me, the Averit that I did. I have a sefer on B'tachon. It's called B'tach B'Hashem, I think it's called. I forgot what it's called. Habitech, what is it called? It's a different one I have. It's a murder. Very chashuv. Everyone's in there. Mener Samoyer, there's a sefer Chachma Musa, Antabi, his name was. Gracie Yidin, one after another. Sefer Ikrim is in there. Sefer Maspik, the Sefer Savavas, the Ramban, the Chavetz Chaim, the Alta from the Vardik, the Shemer Amuna. They're all in there. It's packed, beautiful stuff. It's the Magid on B'tachon. There's a whole thing over there. Kada Kemach, Rabbeinu Yoina, it's murdig. I took a look, kamat, every single shtickle there. Many of them, they just in their sefer, they have one shtickle on B'tachon. In my perception, what I remember, almost everybody does not fail to write. Afilu Rasha B'teach B'Hashem. First thing, the olive base of B'tachon is, your madrega and ruchnius means nothing, zero. You could be the biggest Baal B'tachon. I once made a diak. B'teach B'Hashem Chesed. Afilu Rasha B'teach B'Chazal. Afilu Rasha B'teach B'Hashem Chesed Yisayuvenu. That means Chesed Yisayuvenu is an extreme lashon. It's extreme. You're surrounded by goodness. So I made a diak. Not only will the Russia succeed, but he'll get the extreme Yeshuas all over the place. The biggest Russia. I heard from Reuven Hostel Zangzenstein once told me a beautiful book. He said, you know what the real Baal B'tachon is? The Russia. Why? All the other guys, they're Samechad Tzitkis. Deep down, I'm learning Shtar. So you're B'tach and you're Black Gemara. It's nice, but it's not B'tachon. You're B'tachon, whatever you're from a Yid, but the real B'tachon is, your Chasodim, I don't deserve nothing. That's real B'tachon. So, That's right. The story with the Al-Shech HaKadosh, the Mr. Nobody. He was a simple Bala boss. He became a millionaire because he had B'tachon. And his Talmidim were G'dei Torah did not become millionaires. Beautiful riot. There you go. Then they have another riot. The Alta brings... The Alta says, declaring I am Roy, I'm not Roy. Yeah, there you go. I'm Roy, I'm not Roy. Alta brings a Maisa with brings a Maisa with, first of all, he says, by the Meraglim, Yehuda also the Kamid Rava. And Rava asked him, what would you like to eat? Tarnagoyas b'futemes v'yayin yoshan. Rava looks at him, that's, wherever you go, that's the diet, the strict diet. You have to eat like one of those fancy people. So he said, I don't eat from, I eat from the Yebishter. As he was talking, There's a knock on the door. Rabbi's sister comes in. He didn't see her in 12 years, 13 years. 13 sounds better. 13. Let's make it 13. What? What? 13, huh? 13 years she didn't see him. She just popped up with Tana goes, but with time as So anyway, the altar sits on it. Rabbi the Gadol Ador. He wasn't sure. And this Hudiyasa, who is he? We don't even know his name. And he got what he wanted. Bטחון is free for everybody. You could do whatever you want. By the way, Bטחון, you could be zeicha to your own mahalach that no one ever had before, the Rupshitzu or the Zhikava. I saw it in one of the Sfarim. Brings down that Nachamish Gamzu was machadish something over the normal. When the Eibishter made the world, like Rabbi Akiva. Right? Whatever good came out later, like the Bashamta says. But he said Nachamish Gamzu said, no, the dirt that the innkeeper gave him with that whole ma'aseh, that goofin's going to be tova. That was his own chiddush. You have the right to make up your own derech. I have things myself. What are you talking? I'm a machadish. I think, you know, as a machadish, I can daven with half a heart, with nothing in my head, and I could barely open my mouth, and I'll get the biggest yeshua. Because I decided one day, you don't need 40 days at the Kaisel for every move you make. I'm going to get it, because the smallest, I asked the Eibishter, I says, Eibishter, do me a favor. I don't know the Kaisel's thing going, chuckling. I can't do that stuff. And stop fasting. Is it coming from your heart? Did you cry? I can't do it. I'm not holding by it. Help me without that. I promise you. I told the Eibishter, and from that day on, the Eibishter's with me. He understands the matzah. You think he doesn't understand? The Eibishter went to, he's as good as all those psychologists who spent 10 years in medical school. He took the course. He knows human nature, right? You can rely on the Eibishter. He knows. He knows that. He knows me. He knows me. He knows us. That's us. Speak normal with the Eibishter. There's nothing like it. Speak. David's the one, you know, the Chofetz Chaim used to tell people. By the way, I have my experience with my Siddhim lately is like this. People call me up. And I say like this, now look, if you want, I can give you a bracha and you'll be fine. But if you want to work on yourself, I was taught, Reb Geshem was once in bed sleeping, and 10, 15 ladies came in, and they wanted to speak. They were all crying their eyes out. Each one had trouble with their kids. They were off the derech. Whenever they were crying, they were going with sugar. Now, Reb Gershon, the way the story goes, I wasn't there. He suddenly jumped out of bed. I can't imagine Reb Gershon sleeping. I'm just telling you. I don't believe he slept. I can't see it happening. He was a Zaka Muflig, and he used to sit there all day in his chair in the base medrash. He sat like this, like he owned the world, and it was a swivel chair, and he used to go back and forth in the base medrash. He always swiveled back and forth by Mizrach. You know what I'm talking? He sat by the Mizrach. And he used to go back and forth. What?
Had wheels?
What's that?
Had wheels?
Yeah, he had wheels, sure. And he sat there back and forth, spinning around. Almost nicht. Where does it say you can't do that? Because people think when they're at the Mizrach, you have to become... at the Mizrach, they're all looking at you. Don't make a wrong move. Watch. They're all looking at you. In Novhardok, when people are looking at you, that is a big covered issue. Because my Yemer Abrius is killing you. They're all looking at me. Are you looking at me? Did you notice? You also looking? Oh no. You also? All the people are looking at me. Forget it. You have to challenge because my Yemer Abrius is full force ahead. You Novanik the hell. Hey, not the hell as fine as I been on never element up. But with Novanik, they saw everybody looking at you. They would say, "Yes, what can I do for you?" This Schwartz. The first time I met him, he was sitting like this, and I met him. Now you couldn't really know. People don't chop these things. The one who does it, he knows, but no one else really knows the difference. They're worried about their own, how do they look. They don't even chop. So you're sitting like this, and I asked them about pratim. You do a prat to go against, not to be afraid of people. So he said, he says, yes, they do all kinds of things. Yes, they do. Yes, not necessarily do people realize what they're doing, but they know what they're doing. He told this to me. And he's sitting like this. Aha. Here, I was once at a matzah. I did something like this. And a kid comes over to me. Rabbi Mendel. Yes. Your yarmulke. It was my yarmulke. I don't remember what it was. I think it was this was accidentally on purpose. Okay. So I did something that I felt I needed to do. Now, they do things that are normal to do. People, by mistake, Eddie, it's normal to, so thank you so much. I'm so happy you pointed that out to me. You're so nice, I would have been so embarrassed without you. And you come along. Thank you so much. This happened to you recently. The kid comes over, Rabbi Mendel, an Edelweight, your hat, or this one of these things. I said, thank you so much. I once saw an Novanik get up and he davened. He was saying sphere, he purposely said the wrong one. And the whole oilam pounced on top of him. And I saw the way he corrected him. I said, shkaya. Kept on going. But you need to do, the Chassidish Rebbes were known to do these things. I'll tell you who used to do this. No, I mean, the Kalev Rebbe, the Alta, the one who's from Williamsburg, the Adam Chashem, his father was known to be full of this stuff. He made pratim. It's not just Novanik. There's a lot of big people. There was once a Leleva here. I don't know which one. He was here in Beis Fega, and he gave a tish Friday night. And middle of the tish, what he was doing. Entschuldig, and he had all different weird things were happening. He was doing, he used to do these. I don't want to say the name. Adam Golemite, his chassid came here. I'll tell you who it was. Muttel Vishnitz. Should I tell you what he used to do? You'll blush. Should I dare do it, Barabba? He used to do it in front of all us to see them. He fopped them all over. Anyway, you got to fop in the belt, or else you're going to be... it's not easy to be a Rebbe. The Rebbe's locked in jail for the rest of his life. Every move he makes, the Rebbe, you got to watch. Anyway, somebody once said one of the biggest Rebbes in the world, that everybody's kaidim and mishtachlim to him. I don't want to say who, what, when. Very big. They worship him like not shaykh. And someone once went to see him, and he saw him standing there alone on a red carpet. It was mincha time and Shabbos, and the Elah was like this, and he takes out a handkerchief and he goes, boom, like cold on. I'm human. What's Wilson for? I'm not allowed to sneeze. You're not allowed to be human. Anyway, Kitza. So the Novanik have a lot of makes life easier when you do a lot of these protim. Now, I want to say a vote over here. First of all, when the candles go out on Shabbos, don't chop a spilus. The candles go out on Shabbos. I used to have every single week that it went out. The next day, something happened, an accident happened, something, not push it out. Every time candles were out. This happened for years. So one day my Rebbe got a hold of me and he said, Danish cup, and now it goes out, I laugh at it. Any of these things happen, learn to laugh. Mitzaftzef, make a joke out of all these things, very important. Or else, you lose all your b'tachon. The Averis, I'm going to tell you about Averis. Averis are the main part of your Averis. By the way, Yosef and Yehuda, the biggest of all the Shvatim, Yosef and Yehuda, both had an assignment of the lowest of the low. It's embarrassing to learn these psukim. How do you learn up? Yosef HaTzadik. And according to the Malbim, it doesn't say, it says, Vayimayin, doesn't say V'loi Ava. V'loi Ava would have meant he taka didn't want. Vayimayin means he did want, but he said he didn't want. You want to know what Chazal say? I don't want to go into all these things. What it says, Heilige Yosef HaTzadik, and he's Midas HaYesod, and he's also Yosef. And then Yehuda was taka nefshel. What's going on here? Now, I want to tell you something. When Yehuda... Okay, why did Tamar want Chesemes and the Psila? Why did she want the royal garments that he had? Zok the Sepharnite, she wanted to be Mahar in his greatness and his Gvura. Now, when somebody's nechshel in things like this, the person who is nechshel in Lachtzachap and Punamarayim, you're weak. You have no... They look down at you. And Tamar is in awe of this Yehuda who's about to do something that's not shaykh. And he doesn't know that it's Yavama, whatever he was supposed to, Hashem, whatever. We know that Amalek pushed him to do it. And she is being Mahara in his greatness while he's doing Kach V'Kach. She's like that shaykh. I want to tell you another zach. Esav of Russia, Yaakov Avinu, said, you look to me, K'rais Panei Elokim. Did he mean it or not? When Yaakov told Esav, K'rais Panei, according to the Alto Slobodki, he meant it. He looked at Esav. And right afterwards it says, Umalachim imcha yetzeu. Your Malchus, Yaakov. That's Malchus. Malchus means when you're in the garbage can. Take Yosef. Yosef was about to be nifshel, what it says, and then he sees his father's surah, which means Yosef Mikol Bonam. I'm the best. Oh, I'm the best. I'm the best there. I'm the best there. He's always. By the way, there's a Rashi where he called himself the best in front of the Shvatim. You know, I'm a chashuv person. It's a Rashi. It says often, Parshas Miketz. He was very into that. Since he was a kid, he said, you're all bowing down, dosidus, and later he does it. And his whole mahalach, in fact, he was nifta 10 years younger because his style was very, what's going on? Yosef HaTzadik into these things. Oh, anyway. But I just want to bring out, when he was in this matzav, he was building himself up at the same time. I want to say like this. You know what a melech is? A melech has the ability to see when you're in the lowest of the lowest matzav, to say, Punkt Vaket! I'm the Gadol HaDaris. I'm Gavaldik. In yourself and in others. You see somebody being nishal. No. He's a tzaddik. He has potential. He could become great. We want to prove it by David HaMelech. The whole David, all the prakim there, Shaul threw a spear at him 3 times. And Shaul was hunting him, and he was shait, he was atzvus, whatever that means. He was out of it. Hashem Yirachem. Shaul was the worst enemy in his life, but Shaul HaMelech, and he was an all-time low. He lost his malchus. He was nifshel here and nifshel there, and messed up all over the place. And David, Mashiach Hashem, and he keeps doing it. And as Levi, he's crying, Mashiach Hashem. David only sees, he's Gavaldi. The same thing with Abner. Abner was his enemy. Abner, a tzaddik. That's Malchus. They haven't seen a melech, and a regular person is. A melech does not feel I'm nobody. Like Esau. Vayiva, I lost, I messed up, I fressed. Vayiva is okay, I'm out of it. A melech is always holds, he's Gavaldi, Punkt Vaket. Like the Slana Chassidim say, If a person can't, after doing the worst Aveira, be mispalo with the biggest instructions, he has no shaykhs with Chassidus. He blew it. He doesn't know what's going on. Islam Batgirei said, the Rebbe tells us, said they could do the worst Aveiras in Zalach Tzachais. Of course, Rav Nosson used to say, Yom Kippur, you'll do tshuva. But don't get, your self-image is the churban. Once you pull yourself down, everybody does this. They're always, what I did yesterday. Get a type of covered. I'm not so great. A melech lachsach ois noser. I'm on top. You know, argamon, the purple, it's a lashon in the world. You don the purple. The purple is a color that means ariga. It's a machlik is what it means. But it means weaving of two kinds. And most say it means blue and red. Red is Elam Hazeh, and blue is a Shemayim. You're a bum, and you're not spoiled. I'm up there. I'm not in the spoil. Go gewaldig. Dafke when I'm in the garbage can, I'm doing the worst thing. And not only a self-image, that's malchus. That's real malchus. That's what makes a... Hashem made us to be megushim dik. And that's why it's scary. Look at me, my appetite. Ooh, I'm glad nobody saw before you came what I was. Ask my wife how I... Was macht ihr? Kippt da rein. You have more masker for us.
I put champagne.
Champagne, now we're talking. Kippt da rein. Kippt da rein, macht sich heimisch.
I managed 2 minutes just to drop up. I just came last week. My sister, somebody, a relative of mine, and the machlo, whatever, the doctor was cheshish for the machlo, she's pregnant. One doctor found audition up to the biggest, highest doctor in Manhattan. Right. And the Rebbe came here. I was on Thursday. I said, Mom, I'm going to go ask a bracha. I came on Thursday night. The Rebbe gave a bracha. He says, everybody remember. And Baruch Hashem, she got the result that nothing is there. Baruch Hashem.
That's another one of my Moshe.
Huh?
And Rabbi, who heard? Go. So give it ganz New York. You had the latest Mavis? There we go. By the way, I'm chesed you too. You hold your own. Champagne, over here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let's. Bring it all out, sure. Tater kugel. And tomorrow is the Sarbat Tavis. Is there a spoon over here? We'll get a spoon, maybe. Beautiful, beautiful. Rabbi, say, get through it. How do you open this? Okay.
Thank you so much.
We got to open these things. Anybody know?
I wish I could stay. I have family therapist, Slumbai. I said, right. If you're not coming to Obey Mendel, you find yourself in therapist, This is what I say. I'm not biased to say, by Nobody could say the Amazon on the table. I go for my wife to make her happy, Can I get your mother's cell number? I want to find out, how did she get such a sweet guy like you? How did she daven? Now, I want to ask you something. But Rabbi Mendel, I spoke in the Shabbat this week. And I said, I'm supposed to be here earlier today. I go twice a week. So I said, unfortunately, I was in a marriage therapy. So, everybody like, oh my God. So that's what I'm But I said, they're very positive. In Nובהרדוק, we never had divorces. My father had for many, many years.
No divorces.
Never divorces. And Reb Gershon Liebman went to Abshach and he told me, you told me, oh, Musa. I says, yes, but Be'ez Baruch Hashem, there's no divorces. Because they work on the Midas, Shvirat HaMidas, and Tufas and everything. But I said, once a person is trying to become Americana, I said, okay, you want to switch the little old fashion of Europe.
Listen, maybe you could have Rabbi Yodman left. There's an Olam that wants to go to France. Maybe you can help us out. This is an Avardiga. He's Gavaldi. This guy is Gavaldi. His father, I remember your father when he was younger than you are. Your father is the sweetest guy I ever met. He's a Yemenite. He's sugar. How did you...
My grandparents are from Yemen. My father born in Eretz, but he grew up...
As sweet as anything. His father, your father organized...
My father was in the hospital. My father had a shock. All the guys like I was there with my father. All the guys doctor says the said your father is over and everything was in coma. And Rabbi Mendel was in Almontier. I remember he took me and my brother with crying and everything. He took us. He said, let's take 3 people. We'll make a base in. And I said, we guys said that everything should be in his battle. We're not listening to the doctor and everything. And Baruch Hashem, my father,
means a year and a half after, he came to my chasana. When he was mamish considered dead by the doctor, he was in coma, mamish, and nothing. So I really believe he's a bad meister.
By the way, how much do I have to pay you? You know, what I just hired you to do.
You can send the bill, down of the month. You can send the bill.
I just got another 1,000 seater because of you.
I promise you, I came to you last week. I asked my wife. Me and my wife, we didn't able to wait. There's somebody spoke with me. But I cannot say maybe to this. But I'm telling you, the whole family we lost appetite. We was all walking around stressed out. She was fine, and many doctors says this looks like a cancer. And until they went to the highest, I don't know, $2,000-$3,000 just to see him for maybe 45 minutes. This doctor in Manhattan.
Right.
And Baruch Hashem, we got the result. There's nothing. And I said to my wife, I believe in Rabbi Mendel. He was mevatel everything. I said, Mama, I believe in this tzaddik. I believe in this book. I said to her, Baruch Hashem, and Baruch Hashem, we're celebrating today.
Not possible. By the way, I believe in you too, by the way. I'm telling you, I'm shaker from COVID. I don't have to drink. But you get sick of the COVID, it's a good job, no? He's a tight, he's a sonic. Anyway, where are we up to? The kids, the kugel, them, Rabbi say, yes, every bite of kugel is a tea, große Sache. In the kugel is Kodesh Kadashim. It's good. Out of Chal, Bere'iyah. I took you know how much I ate before you came. Don't worry. No one's starving in America. I was once in a camp, and a yeshiva, and it's a camp and they gave me a seat, shoulder shooters up front, and the Rosh Yeshiva sitting next to me was very worried about, they were giving out dips during shoulder shooters, and he was worried about me getting, and he kept, maybe you want, maybe this. So I turn around finally, I says, I'm tired to eat. In America, nobody's starving. Dogs are good. I'm fine. Nobody's starving. Take it. Oh, watch. Take it. Take it. Oh, yeah, the tinus. Okay, this has to do with Mashiach. Okay, I'll tell you, my said happened. Asara B'Tevis. I got together. There was several years ago a war in the Galil. Does anybody remember there was a war in the Galil? It said before Mashiach comes, the war is going to, in Galil, in Nechreves, something. They were shooting rockets from Lebanon, and it was getting worse and worse, and everybody was Pchadim Neiroyim. And I got together with 2 or 3 younger light the most. We said Gans Tillim on Asara B'Tevis, and as soon as we finished Tillim, we got a report, ceasefire. It happened Asara B'Tevis. I did not have $1 million. I had 3. I was looking for $1 million. I had 2 or 3 people. Asara B'Tevis. We had a Yeshua Gemura. Rabbi say it's not the Tillim, it's the Tznimus. You have to believe in the Tillim. I used to have people used to say Gans Tillim. They used to have Yeshuas. So I decided, what do you have to do that for? Become a Tamim. What? You want me to? I spoke once. No. Where's this? About what? Speaking where? Where? Tell me. You want me to speak again? I spoke once this week. What?
Tell him.
You want to say tell him today? Oh, yeah. What time?
11.
Not so posh. I'm a malamed. Can't do it. But give our bracha. It's going to work. My bracha is going to work. Not shaykh.
Where is it? Which koil?
We have a koil. We have a Nobherdok koil. Anyway, so it's a big Eisirotz, and Asar B'Tevis is up to you. Just like Chana. It's a nice because it's Gevaldi. It's Erev Shabbos, and it's going to bring you Yeshuas. You can look up all this Farm Akdoshim. They'll give you 100 reasons. Reb David Lenchitz, that's all. I felt wind out of me, because you know that during Shmini Atzeres, you're alone with the Melech,
and you're alone, you can ask him anything you want. Is not shaykh. And Hila is not shaykh. Somebody here in Lakewood, a boy couldn't learn. He had no cup. And in the Ela, him and his father davened that his cup should open up. During the Ela, during Kodesh was open. And the next day he was a new kid for the rest of his life. The Ela! So look, every single time it's up to you. So I used to get shortchanged. Right after Yom Tov was over, I felt like, now it's a regular day. Vayasa Navadi, Reb David Lenches, told me every single weekday is Ne'ilah. If you make it a Ne'ilah, if it's Zayin an Ne'ilah. Asar b'tevis is Kedesh Kedoshim. Karu b'yaisei karev. Karu b'yaisei karev. The best Asar b'tevis is when you're all full of Timtum Alev and you're not margish anything and you say, oh no, by me it's not going to work. I can pile it. You will dafka pile. That's what I say. It's not so good. You should have. Some Gedalia would have been better. I say, if you feel like that, then now for sure you're going to make it. A yid has to. You're on your own. A yid has to be on. You decide and sit alone with the Eibishter and tell Eibishter, make me feel exactly the way you want me to feel. The Sarbat Tevis. I should have a feel for the Beis Hamikdash. We covered Shemayim. And help me pile big Yeshuas today for everybody and anybody. Do it! Now watch what happens. I'm going to tell you something that just happened. Listen to this. I got a phone call from Eretz Yisrael. Listen to this, Rabbi Say. Night days. Somebody calls me up from Eretz Yisrael and tells me that Rabbi Mendel, I just got corona. I heard on the tape. Just got corona and I'm mamish like, it's shvach and I'm weak and it's going on and blah, 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 blah. It's a freilich. Because I had that. Anyway, they called me and I forgot about it. And then, 2 days later, that day, I was mispalo like this. I says, Eibishter, whoever gets near me, a lot of, my situation, I get 20 calls a day. 10 of them are the same guy with OCD. My wife says the whole world's calling you. Azoi mates do. That's what you think. The same guy with OCD doesn't stop calling me. I'm kidding. But it is a truth over there. But I get a lot of calls. But now, a lot of people, I get calls very often. Guy calls me 10 times. And he read, emergency, you must call me immediately. Emergency. And as soon as I come home, I see, what? So I dial him, nobody home. Dial him again, nobody home. Dial him an hour later, nobody home. The next day I get him, is everything okay? Oh, Zagonis. But this happens all the time. But anyway, I'm going to tell you a Maisa. This is not Stam a Maisa. This just happened. It's half of a fella. What you could do with Amuna and Bטחון. I davened one day, Eibishter, the people who try to reach me and don't reach me, hey, give them some jack. Let's go. Let's go get the jack moving. Oh, but give my freilach. Let me get some l'chaim. This is not l'maisa. Give me a cup. Chaim Tevelu Shalom Simchas Be'al Yidin. Sorry, but now they decide when Mashiach is coming or not. Sorry, but Tevis Eis Rotzen Gadol Ma'od before Shabbos and Eis Rotzen Shein Kamoyu Shabbos. Do you know that the Chazon Ish once told somebody the most choshev tefillah of the week is Mincha Erev Shabbos? It's called the Chassidim. So they for sure. Chazon Ish. Somebody's working in tefillah. You want to work in tefillah? Mincha Erev Shabbos. That's the best time to daven. It's a heilige time. Eisiratz and Gadol. So Asar B'Tevis. By the way, I want to tell all my chassidim that I wanted my shirayim. I didn't drink yet, so it's not going to work. But it's going to go in my freya.
We'll work on Lomdus. L'chaim tov v'lo baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam shahakar lemidvarim.
Amen.
L'chaim. No, drink. Choshev, a guest from New York. We have the sweetest people there. You want some? You wilt a bissel? So gewaltig. Do you know why I drink? Ich glach to drink. You know why I like to drink? Because then I have a much bigger oilam. When I drink, I see double. Anyway, so what was I saying? Listen, the story is not shy. The story is half lamapel rabbeisai. So I said, Eibishter, whoever gets near me, even if they don't reach me, should have a Yeshua. I said it on Thursday, last Thursday, Wednesday, I think Thursday. Thursday night, I called back that person who was never with Corona. Says, how are you? Oh, do you know what happened? What? I don't know why. As soon as I left the message, I felt completely cured. I promise you, this is a new story. You like it? It helps us to talk. As soon as I put, now I had that day, I said, Eibishter, whoever just calls me should have Yeshua. I recommend that you get in touch with the Eibishter. Sit there. Sit there for an hour. Talk to the Tata and say Eibishter. And spend your time thanking him. Don't ask. You can ask too, Nishkevela. Spend time with the Eibishter. I'll tell you one thing. Before you start speaking, say, I love you, Eibishter. Say it with your heart. I love you like crazy. Say, I love you to pieces. And take a look outside and look at the trees. And look at the birds. And look at the B'nai Torah and the Heilige Chassidish Yidden and the Klal Yisrael. Look at them. Look at them. Not Shayach. I talk about Godless Adam. I'm going to tell you a story. Godless Adam. Why are you talking about Godless Adam so much? I'll tell you why. I have a Shabbos guy next door. They help me a lot. Nice guy. But yeah, I have a friend over by the house. He came. Super nice guy. I had to talk with him. I don't like to talk to Shkotzim so much. The Mela. But I talk. This is not Jose. Jose's from the Geisa. But Geisa Shkotzim. Anyway. Jose, anyway, this guy, Jose left us. He's making more money without us. But I told this, so this guy told me like this. I says, he's my age. He's not a youngster. Big, tall guy, nice, very nice fellow. I says, how's your family? What does that mean? Well, I'm not really married. Oh, you're not married? Oh. Were you ever married? Oh, yes, 2 months. That was it. Really? Whatever. So he said, no problem. Well, I married this girl, and where he describes an ordentliche shiksa, not stop. Whatever you want to say, whatever Shigitz wants, she and he held, she was gewaltig in everything. She was not shy. And what happened to the marriage is a true story. Don't laugh, please. When he got to his best jokes, he used to say, lach nicht. That meant, yeah, let's see, what do you... Anyway, he said like this. He said, my raccoon had to go ktanim. The raccoon went on her pillow. So when that happened, she was very that. She said, I'm so sorry. I'll be more careful. Yeah. The next time, the raccoon went gedolim on her pillow. And he had the choice, either a human wife or a raccoon. We kept us a human being to a raccoon. There's no suffix. He didn't need any. He didn't have to call, ATIS what to do with this decision, your lifetime decision. It was partial. We divorced in a very, we're still friends, Oh, but I need my raccoon. The raccoon, you know what he told me, this fellow? He says, you have to think ahead. He told this to me. You have to be practical. Listen to this. So I promise you, you have to think ahead. He has a huntle. And he says, look, I'm already, he's 70, whatever. And I know I'm not going to be here forever. And my dog really needs, someone got to take care of him. So I took care of everything. I called the insurance company. His dog is one of the richest huntalach in Lakewood. If you need money for your mouse goat, there's huntalach. He told me his dog is going to be taken care of. When I pass away, my dog will be well taken care of. I'll feel good about the way I lived a very fruitful life. I feel so good. Doesn't shake it. So I want to tell you, when the guy is spiegeltzach, the way a guy looks, it shows that Tzelem Alikim has such a human. If a guy could talk like that, it's an extreme of us. We not machshav nobody. We don't chap. What a ben Torah is, what an El Chayid is, we don't chap.